All right, welcome back to Tucson RV Solar. Here we are on site at Nelson RV, doing a install for a 30 amp rig on this Thor Quantum, new to the customer, and getting them ready to go out on the road. So back with the Thor Quantum, here's what we got. Doing a full Victron upgrade with an Epoch 460 amp hour battery. For the solar, added 800 watts of solar up on the roof. Already got those up there. We'll show them to you here in a bit. They do have 100 watt Renogy panel that is going through this Go Power controller that was already on site. We're leaving that in place, and then we'll show them how it'll actually show up in the DC load on the touch screen when we put that in. But for this additional 800 watts, we're running down through the refrigerator, the back of the vent, and you can see where we've already made our holes here. That'll take us through the bottom of the rig. Down there, one new fresh hole, and that's also where we're going to run the touch 50 line through as well, so we can run it all the way to the back. Now in the back, not a lot of room for this big battery, so we actually created a new tray so we could store it under the bed. Still accessible if they really need to get into it, but the tray will support the weight. And believe it or not, if we relocated this transfer switch, they'd actually have room to add one more later on if they really wanted to. You can see a couple of holes there we already added inside the beginning of the board, and that's so that we can run the cables from there into the Links distributor. Now we'll go over to the outside. So as with any rig, obviously you got to run a lot of wires from there. That's our solar wires, our 2-gauge wire where we delete the old two 12-volt lead acid batteries, as well as our HDMI and USB extension for the Cerbo. That's going to go under the rig and then track downwards all the way back to this compartment, which is where everything's going to be stored. So now we're on the other side of the battery, and you can see the first board that's gone in here. This is the stock installation, and we're actually going to trim that off, leave it in place so they still can access their transfer switch and some of these cables. But on this side, you can see we've already pre-mounted the inverter and test fit it, and then we've got our cable conduit ready to try to make a nice clean install here, and then getting ready to put the other board in this side. But we had to go ahead and pre-run some holes. We got a new one back in here. That's going to be our new ground connection. Those are for the 4-aught cables coming off the batteries. That'll be running into the rest of the system right here. So trying to keep it nice and clean and preserve all the functionality of their storage so they can get on the road. More to follow. Here we are up on the roof. You can see the 800 new watts of solar panels. Went flush right next to this existing 100 watt Renogy panel because it was already buried underneath where they plugged it down. So minimizing our shading as much as we can. You can see just a little bit on that guy, but these are in series. These are in series, so always going to be able to pick up at least one string. Okay, so now we have the Cerbo setup and the flat screen setup. Have not connected this small controller into the system, but let's just look. So right now, late in the day, getting 178 watts from the roof. If you go over here to DC loads, you can see it's only 44 watts. Now, when I connect this, that wattage is actually going to go down. Here we go. And we're back. Remember our 44 watts? Now it's 30 watts because we got another 100 watts charging independently. But that's how they know that they are getting a little bit of wattage actually from their 100 watt panel. adding to the charging of their smart shunt. And we're complete for this Class C. As you can see, due to space, I had to put the inverter on its side, but got the 460 amp hour battery just on the other side of that wall, feeding into the Class T fuse and the battery cutoff switch, and then the smart shunt just to the left of that. Our solar is going through the cutoff, so we can disconnect that if we have to do any servicing, and then the solar controller there, the 15070. All that running back through, and we got the Cerbo GX up top. And we're able to hide the ground going out that goes to the chassis, as well as bringing in all of our AC cables and the DC cables that are coming out of the Lynx distributor. All in all, nice and tight, clean, preserved all kinds of storage space for them, so they should be super happy.